I'm Anthony Walsh of the Black Guy White Guy Show. I'm here to talk to you tonight about the so-called war against women. The Republican Party would like for you to believe that this is just a fiction created by the Democrats, that there is no war on women and the Democrats have just come up with this idea via their imagination and they're trying to use it as a political wedge issue. The fact of the matter is, in the states, over 1,000 different pieces of legislation have been proposed and or passed that greatly curtail the rights of women, ranging from fetal personhood bills to making it so difficult for a woman to get an abortion that it basically renders it impossible. And of course I'm referring to transvaginal ultrasounds that women in some states have to get before they're allowed to have an abortion. And keep in mind that abortions have been legal in this country for decades now. And it should be noted that federal funds cannot be used to perform abortions due to the Hyde Amendment. The Republicans would like for you to believe that the reason why they want to cut Planned Parenthood funding is because Planned Parenthood provides abortion services, and those funds are being used to do abortions. The fact of the matter is that Planned Parenthood very carefully makes sure that the monies that they receive from the federal government do not and have not been used to perform abortions. Now, some would argue that money is fungible, and that's a good point. But if they cut funding from organizations like Planned Parenthood, they're really doing women a great disservice, because a lot of these funds are used for women exams, pap smears, mammograms, and other tests that are vital in catching and preventing cancer, catching it in early stages and being able to treat it. Also, in the state of Wisconsin recently, Governor Scott Walker, Republican, basically had a Fair Pay Act and for women to make sure that they were receiving the same pay as men, and he essentially overturned it. Today, for example, in the House, the Violence Against Women Act was overturned because there were some key provisions that the Republicans took out that would protect women from violence, and other parties protect them from domestic violence. It would ensure that people that are here, women that are here illegally, couldn't be deported for reporting that they were a victim of domestic violence, and the list goes on and on. The version in the Senate passed with bipartisan support, but the House is playing games with this act that in the past was usually passed without question or debate. But once again, the Republican Party has decided to use this piece of legislation that everyone used to be on board with, because it protects women, especially, from being victims of abuse. They've decided to make it a political football. And a lot of these bills that are being proposed regarding fetal personhood bills, the Republican Party, for whatever reason, it kind of boggles the mind, has decided to pick a fight regarding contraception and trying to make contraception illegal when this has been the law of the land for decades, with their Supreme Court ruling in Griswold v. Connecticut. This notion that women shouldn't have contraception, or that families can't make informed decisions about the size of their families, is patently ridiculous. And the Republican Party can throw all the temper tantrums they want and cry and scream and rage at the Democratic Party, but if it's factual, then it is reality and it is going on. They can say till they're blue in the face that they're not waging a war against women, but if you go out there, you can find countless examples of how this is playing out, not only in the states, but at the federal level. So when John Boehner throws his temper tantrums and rails against the Democratic Party for making this an issue, well, the reality is that the Republican Party made this an issue. And John Boehner is upset that the Democratic Party has the gall to point out what they're trying to do not only at the federal level, but at the states, because the Democratic Party has some fault in this, because in the past, the Democratic Party has given weak opposition to what the Republicans were trying to do. They would grumble under their breath and be upset about it. But now that the Democrats are finally starting to fight back with some of this and really trying to protect women's rights in this country, the Republican Party is falling all over themselves in disbelief and upset that we have the audacity to point this out and use the facts against them. All the Democratic Party has to do is tell the truth about what's going on with women, and that's enough. They don't need to get down in the mud and get dirty about it. There is an assault on women going on. It's out there, the information's out there, and I encourage you to get on the internet, find out about it, and get involved and get active.